Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lisa and I am That Doll Collector. Thank you so much for stopping by to watch my video today. Happy Peeka Wednesday! We made it to another Wednesday. It's the middle of the week. And joining me today is one of my Peeka sculpts. This is Bumblebee. He is a full body vinyl Peeka from Amazon that I altered a little bit and made him into a boy. He's so cute sitting here. Well, Peeka Wednesday is hosted by 3 channels in the dolly community. Tammy at Tater Tots Reborns Nursery, Chris at Tiny Heart Reborns, and Bonnie at Pretty Poppets. It was Bonnie's turn to pick a theme for this week, and she said to dress your Peekas however you want, maybe into something comfortable and relaxing, and sit down and read a story to them, and tell about maybe a storybook that was your favorite when you were a kid growing up, or even now. So anyway, I have 3 books that I picked, one for each Peeka. I have 3 Peekas in my doll collection, and they're all full body vinyl dolls, and this is my only boy. So the first book that I would like to share, that's my favorite book, this is the one that always comes to mind every time I think of my mother reading to me when I was a young girl, is this one. It's called The Foot Book by Dr. Seuss. And if you're familiar with it, there's not very many words in this book. It's pretty simple, it's just left foot, right foot, feet, feet, feet. Oh, how many, many feet you meet. Red foot, black foot, all these different kinds of feet references. And I remember the thing about this book wasn't, there's really no story to it. It's silly. Most Dr. Seuss books are silly, but it was the way that my mom would read it to me. She would change her voice and speed up the words sometimes and slow them down and other times. And it would just always make me laugh and feel so good. And I think, and now that I'm older, I realize why she was so good at reading this book was because when my mom was first in school, she went to country school. And in country school, she was the youngest one in the whole school. And the teacher didn't make her do anything. She said she didn't really even learn, she didn't learn anything. She was supposed to be learning how to read, her ABCs and all that kind of stuff. And Mom said all she would do was she would throw a little fit and the teacher wouldn't make her learn anything. And at the time, she really liked it because she got her way, but she said it really did her a lot of harm because once she went to public school then, she had a lot of problems. She said she was well into grade school. I want to say she said she was like in the 3rd or 4th grade, and she said she really didn't know how to read. And she had just been keeping, people would just keep passing her on to the next grade. And so as an adult, I remember when my mom, would read to me and my brother, I remember on the books where they had longer sentences where she would still even then kind of stumble on her words. So yeah, and as she got older, and she just kept reading to us, and she says that by reading to my brother and I, she became a more confident reader. And I remember her when she was my age, she was a very good reader. Mom would read, she would always have a book. She would finish a book in just in no time. So she went on to, get better. And reading is so important. You really need to learn that and have that good foundation when you're younger, because it can be harder as you get older. So anyway, so yeah, so that's my first book I have to share with you. It's called The Foot Book of course, by Dr. Seuss. And little Bumble, I'm going to switch him out with the next Peeka and share the next book with you all. Before I switch him out, let me show you what he's wearing. He's wearing a little preemie size onesie, and it's white and it's got red and blue stripes on the front. And I put his little white tennis shoes on him also. So let's switch out Bumblebee, and I'll get the next Peeka. I'll set her down. Okay, this is the next Peeka. This is Buttercup. She's my blonde-haired, curly-headed little Peeka girl. And she has on a onesie also, and it has lime green trim and green stripes, yellow stripes, and purple stripes going through it, and pink stripes. And on the side it has a couple pretty little flowers, purple and yellow and pink. So yeah, so this is Buttercup. So the second book that I have to share with you all is called The Country Cat. And it looks like this. And it's by Norman Bridwell. And this is a old book. Let's see, it has, what did it say? The copyright is 1969. So it's an older book. And I'm not going to read it, but basically what it is it's a story about a cat and its family, and they started living in the country. And then the family has to move to the city, and they take their cat with them to the city, and it goes on to demonstrate how the cat is not happy in the city. It sits in the window and meows at night because it can't go outside anymore, and it's just sad and complaining all the time. And then it finally does escape from the house, and it gets out and it tries to do the things that it did in the country, and it's not working because of all the traffic and everything. So then this little boy comes along and finds the cat in the city and picks it up, and eventually returns it back to the family that had lost it. And they said, well, thank you. They thanked him. And he said he wished that he could have a cat like that he really liked the cat. And the family said, well, would you like to have this cat? And he said, and the little boy goes on to say no, because they're moving to the country. And he didn't think that the cat would be very happy being a city cat. So then they said, well, this cat is a country cat, and it would like to go back to the country. So then they let the cat go with the little boy, and it's now back in the country. I always like the moral of this story, of this book, because it goes along with doing what's best for our animals, for our pets. No matter how we feel about what we want, or that we would want to take them with us, it's always best to think about the animal. So I've always enjoyed this book. I used to, as a young girl, I used to read this book to my cat, and my cat's name was Charlie 11. And and he was such a frisky cat. Every time I would turn the page, he would be batting at the pages or trying to bite the book. And yeah, that's a lot of fun memories. Every time I pick up this book and read it, I remember those times of reading this to my cat at home. Okay, so now the third book, I'll swap out Buttercup and I'll get the next little Peeka. See you later, Buttercup. Okay, this is my, this was my very first Peeka to be added that started my Peeka doll collection. This is Honeybee. This is little Honeybee, little Miss Honeybee. And she's dressed in a onesie with, it's pretty yellow color, and it's kind of got like these, well, kind of, I guess you would call it maybe cap sleeves, little frilly cap sleeves. It's really cute. And it has a white ribbon across the front. Yeah, she's so cute. So the third book that I have is called The Black Stallion. And it's an older, it's the newer, I think, of all three of these books that I have to share. It's copyrighted 1979. But I remember in the third grade, our teacher in our class, she would read to us every day. And it was usually, we would go out for recess, and then when we would come in, we would have milk break. And one of us, or no, it was actually two of us, it would switch every week. There'd be two helpers, they would call them. And you always were so excited when it was your turn. You took a milk crate and you went up to the cafeteria and you went into the refrigerator and filled the crate with little cartons of milk, one for each kid in the class. Unless one of the kids couldn't have milk. There was one girl, I was friends with her, she was lactose intolerant. She couldn't have milk, so she had her juice that she would drink every day. She would just bring a little container of juice. But anyway, so we would bring the milk back and hand it out, and then my teacher would go to the front of the class and she would sit on a stool in front of the blackboard, the chalkboard, and I can still see her sitting there now. She would have her coffee mug full of water for when she was reading, her throat would get dry and she would take sips of water from it. She wore big round glasses, and she always wore those wooden clogs. Do you guys remember those shoes? They call them clogs. They were leather in the front and they were round and they had wooden bottoms. And when you would walk, they would clunk, clunk, clunk. I had a couple pair actually in elementary school. They were really popular for a while, but she always wore those. And I remember seeing her, I can just see her sitting on that stool with her coffee mug of water sitting beside her and her clog shoes, and she would kind of play with them, on her feet as she was reading us. And the most favorite book I remember her reading was this one right here, The Black Stallion. And she would read a chapter, I think it was just one chapter every day she would read to us. Yeah, it's about, a black stallion that gets, ends up on an island, and this boy finds him and ends up racing him. And yeah, it's really good. It's based, there's a movie also about it. So I think, oops, sorry, move the camera here. I think just about everybody is pretty familiar with what The Black Stallion is about. So anyway, so those are my three books. That's for Peeka Wednesday. I hope you enjoyed hearing about the books and seeing all three of my little Peekas. This was a fun theme this week. Brought back a lot of fun memories for me. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye, and all my little Peekas, Honeybee, Bumblebee, and Buttercup, thank you for stopping by today and helping to make our day a very happy Dolly Day. And we hope that you all are having one as well. We love you, and always remember that happiness is a choice. We hope to see you in the next video, everyone. Goodbye for now. Say goodbye, Honeybee.